4 teams left. 2 NFC, 2 AFC. It's the AFC NFC Championship Preview right here on the Talking Sports Podcast, on Apple Podcast, on Spotify, and on YouTube. We are sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. Make sure you guys use code TSP for a 100% deposit match up to $100 on UnderdogFantasy.com or in the App Store. Link is in the description. And as always, we are follow us on social media at Talking Sports PD on X or on Instagram. I'm going to make this a quick one. We're going to break down both games. It's just me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed all our college football content. Shout out to Ryan Matson. Appreciate him coming on. We both picked the national championship correctly in Ohio State, but we gave you guys a first round preview. We gave you guys a quarterfinals preview, a semifinals preview, and we gave you, there's something on my lip, of course there is, we get semifinals preview, and we gave you a national championship preview. If you guys haven't checked out our divisional round, I really appreciate everyone that did, everyone that commented, everyone that liked. Over 1,000 views on that. So really, really, really appreciate that. Let's get started here. Commanders, Eagles. Not many people probably would have expected this heading into the year. Maybe the Eagles, yeah, probably the Eagles, or Eagles were one of the teams that maybe people expected. Not the Commanders, a team coming off only a handful of wins last year, getting a rookie quarterback, but now they are in the NFC Championship game. They're coming off an upset win over the Detroit Lions, and the Eagles took care of business at home against the Rams. Almost blew it, didn't cover, but took care of business. Right now on FanDuel, the Eagles are -6.5, so I'll give you guys my pick and who covers either way. Let's talk about this game. Commander side and what they need to do to beat the Eagles and what they bring to this game, right? They bring Jaden Daniels, right? And good quarterback play wins in the National Football League, right? You see the two quarterbacks who are playing in the AFC Championship, right? The two best quarterbacks in the league, in Patrick Mahomes and in Josh Allen. Well, Lamar Jackson was just playing. Matthew Stafford was just playing. Jared Goff was just playing. Jalen Hurts is still playing. Good quarterbacks win in this league, and the Commanders found one, right? So now they have Jaden Daniels, and they go beyond what anyone could have ever imagined, right? Like when they first made the playoffs, like, oh, we made the playoffs. That's cool. Go into Tampa Bay, win that game. They're like, oh, okay, we won a playoff game in our first year. What do we do now? We just go into Detroit and beat the number 1 seed that has 15 wins. And we beat them by double digits. And we own that game. We own that second half. That's what the Commanders did. What concerns me heading into this Commanders game, I think when you look at the Eagles versus the Commanders, if you match up the quarterbacks, the Commanders have the better quarterback. I'm sorry, Eagles fans. I'm going to whisper this to you so you guys don't hear me. Ready? The Commanders have the better quarterback in this matchup. Okay, I'm done whispering, but Jaden Daniels has been better than Jalen Hurts has been in this postseason. But what this game is, Commanders versus Eagles, it's a roster game. And we talked about this on a college football game, right? Sometimes rosters just win football games, right? More in college football, but it happens in the NFL. Sometimes rosters win football games. This is a roster mismatch. It is. It just has to be. It's unfortunate, but it is a roster mismatch. Jaden Daniels is the better quarterback in this game. The Commanders are walking into Lincoln Financial with the better quarterback. The thing is, the Eagles are walking in probably with the better coach, with the better roster, with the better weapons, with the better running back, with the better offensive line, with the better defensive line, with the better secondary. Commanders win the quarterback battle. Eagles win everything else. Jalen Hurts is concerning. He has not been crisp in this postseason. Out of the 4 quarterbacks that are left, he is the lowest grade out of all 4 of them according to PFF. And it's not even close when it comes to those 4 guys. He's been the worst quarterback in this postseason, or remaining in this postseason. But the problem is the Commanders have one of the worst rush defenses in the National Football League. And Saquon Barkley is on an absolute mission. I said for the Rams almost won that game. They had a chance to win that game. The way they would win that game is if they stopped the run and limited the big plays. They didn't, and they still had a chance to win because Jalen Hurts cannot make enough plays. And Jalen Hurts is not a big-time player. He's not a big game player. But Like I said before, and I'm going to say it again, I think the Eagles secondary is going to do damage. I think the Eagles O-line, I think the Eagles being able to stop the run is going to help them. And I think Saquon Barkley with the Devontae Smith and with the A.J. Brown and a secondary that is not great for the Commanders, and they're going to need to play an A-plus game. I don't know if the Commanders have enough. That is my issue, not being able to stop Saquon Barkley. And the Commanders have one of the worst rush defenses in the National Football League is very concerning. It's a roster game. But I'll give you my pick here in a second. Let me know down in the comment section who you guys got, Commanders or Eagles. Jaden Daniels will keep them in this game. He will keep them in this game. He's done it all year. He's won games just because of himself. I just think when it comes down to it, roster-wise and playing at home, the Eagles win. And all the position groups, the Eagles basically win outside of quarterback. And the fact that the Eagles have Saquon Barkley and the Commanders have one of the worst rushing defenses and one of the worst, and not a great defense in general. And one of the causes for concerns for me this year or this postseason when talking about the Commanders is their lack of defense, especially stopping the run. I don't know if they can stop Saquon Barkley for 4 quarters. Jaden Daniels will keep them in this game. I like the Commanders to cover. Score predictions, Eagles 27, Commanders 21. Spread is 6.5. So take Commanders 6.5. I'm telling you that right now. But I like Eagles to win straight up. Eagles 27, Commanders 21. Eagles win, Commanders cover. Oh, I'm so excited for this. Not just because I'm a Bills fan, but because this game is going to be epic, right? I was at Bills-Ravens. That game was epic. This game is going to live up to that. Right now, on FanDuel, the Chiefs are -1.5, basically a coin toss at this moment. Let's talk about this, right? The Chiefs are coming off another one of those victories where they deserve to win the game. I'm gonna say that right now. They deserve to win that game. They got a couple calls that just went their way, but they outplayed the Texans, right? Texans were bad special teams. They were bad situationally, and they made mistakes, and the Chiefs capitalized. I don't think the Chiefs played a perfect game. I don't think the Chiefs played up to their probably ability, but they did enough to win the game, and they capitalized on the Texans' mistakes. The Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, right? Travis Kelce's emerged in that one game, right? He showed why he's still one of the better tight ends in the National Football League, even after kind of that subpar year from him. What scares me for the Chiefs was their inability to run the ball, right? Like they could not run the ball of Kareem Hunt. They could not run the ball of Isaiah Pacheco. They're going to have to run the ball against the Buffalo Bills. But I like the Chiefs defense, and I like what they bring to the table. Of course, it's the Kansas City Chiefs, right? You have Hollywood Brown, you have Xavier Worthy, you have DeAndre Hopkins, you have Travis Kelce, you have weapons, and you have Patrick Mahomes, and you're at home. That's why they're 1.5-point favorites. Their defense is good. Their defense can get after C.J. Stroud. I mean, after Josh Allen, they got after C.J. Stroud. I don't think, look, the Texans O-line is way worse than the Bills O-line. The Bills O-line probably on par with the Eagles, maybe a little less, but Eagles, Bills, two of the best O-lines in National Football League. You never know. We could be seeing them in the Super Bowl, but the Bills O-line is not the Texans O-line. But the Chiefs are 1.5-point favorites for a couple of reasons, right? Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and the fact that they've been here, they know how to win games. And if you cannot have mistakes against this Chiefs team. This Chiefs team's not dynamic offensively. They're not going to score 30-plus points. Well, they might, but they're not consistently scoring 30-plus points. They're not an elite up-and-down offense. They're not throwing 70-yard passes. They're methodically driving the ball down the field. They are playing good defense, and they are capitalizing on your mistakes. And that was the recipe against the Texans. That will be the recipe against the Bills. Flip side to the Bills game. The Bills heavyweight fight against the Ravens. I picked the Bills to beat the Ravens by 3 last week. Mainly because I thought this game would come down in the final possession. It did. Mark Andrews dropped the 2-point conversion and the Bills survived. And the Bills obviously win by 2, not 3. But Bills did a pretty good job against Derrick Henry. I honestly think, and this is not saying the Ravens are better than the Chiefs. The Ravens offense is harder to stop than the Chiefs offense. It is. It doesn't mean the Bills are going to beat the Chiefs, but the Ravens offense is harder to stop than the Chiefs offense. It is. It's just with Derrick Henry running downhill and with Lamar Jackson being able to throw the ball and being able to have his running ability and scramble out of the pocket and make plays with his legs, it was hard to stop. And we saw the Bills do a great job in the first half. Second half, the Ravens kind of came to life. Bills held on. Josh Allen didn't have to make a ton of plays. Look, he had 2 touchdowns. He didn't turn the ball over. He's going to probably have to make a couple of those throws. He did one to Shakir. He did a couple other ones, or a couple of those plays. It doesn't have to be throws where you're just like watching at home. You're like, oh my God, I wish we had this guy at quarterback, right? That's what Josh Allen's going to have to do in this game, in my opinion. And 100%, he's capable of. The Bills are going to lean on the ground game with James Cook, Ray Davis, and Ty Johnson. But I tweeted this earlier. Shakir's been great. The Bills need someone else outside of Khalil Shakir to step up. Is it Amari Cooper? Is it Keon Coleman? Is it Dalton Kincaid? Or is it Dawson Knox? The Bills need a couple plays from their weapons outside of James Cook and outside of Khalil Shakir. Chiefs struggle against tight ends in the middle of the field. Could this be a Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox kind of game? Dawson Knox historically has had a good postseason. Kincaid's been kind of up and down in his first 2 years in the Bills, but you can see the growth and you can see the talent he has. Could this be a Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox type of game? I think it could be. And then you flip over to the Bills defense. I just think they're playing pretty well right now. They were able to stop the run. They don't have to sell out for the run like they did against Baltimore. It's a completely different game plan. It's keeping Mahomes in the pocket. It's getting constant pressure. Where the Bills have to peak on defense here and what they need, a couple big-time plays from Greg Rousseau, Ed Oliver, Von Miller, AJ Epinesa. They got a couple of those, right? Like they had the Taylor Rapp interception. They had the Damar Hamlin forced fumble that Von Miller picked up. They had the Terrell Bernard punch out that, and they got the ball and they were able to make it a 5-point game or make it an 8-point game. Excuse me. Bills forced 3 turnovers against Lamar Jackson. The first time they faced the Chiefs this year, they forced 2 interceptions against Patrick Mahomes. I said the stat a couple weeks ago. Mahomes is 8-7 when he throws 2+ interceptions. That is the recipe. The Bills have been this year defense. Bend, don't break, force turnovers. They did that against the first time they played against Kansas City and they won. They did that against the Ravens in the divisional round and they won. They're going to do this again. Spread 1.5. This is 1.5 Chiefs. This is a heavyweight fight. This is once again going to come down to the final possessions. Probably whoever has the ball last or whoever's defense can make a stop is going to win this football game. I like the Bills to cover. I like the Bills to win 24-23. I think they win by 1 point on a Tyler Bass game-winning field goal. So I got Bills 24, Chiefs 23. Bills going to the Super Bowl. And then I got Eagles 27, Commanders 21. So I have the Commanders and Bills, both underdogs covering. And then obviously I have the Eagles winning outright, not covering. And I have the Bills covering and also winning outright. Let me know who you guys have down in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for supporting all our college football content. I really appreciate it. We did 5 episodes. I forgot to mention it. Conference championship episode and then 4 preview episodes. Over 10,000 views on all those platforms. I really appreciate it. We have this conference championship preview that you guys are listening to right now. And then we'll have the Super Bowl preview in about a week or two, previewing who I predict Bills, Eagles, but 2 of these 4 teams are the Commanders, Eagles, Bills, and Chiefs. It's going to be a great Sunday. We kick off with Commanders, Eagles, and we conclude the night with Bills, Chiefs. Follow us on social media at Talking Sports PD on Instagram and on X. And as always, we are sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. Make sure you guys use code TSP for a 100% deposit match on Underdog Fantasy. Link is in the description along with our Apple Podcast, our Spotify, our X, and our Instagram. Like, comment, and subscribe. Road to 4K continues. Really appreciate it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you're a Bills fan, if you're a Chiefs fan, if you're a Commanders fan, and you're an Eagles fan, good luck to your teams this weekend. We'll be back in about a week or two with our Super Bowl preview. You guys don't want to miss that. Enjoy the weekend, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.